Hi all, greetings from the apocalypse. So in today's video, I'm going to demonstrate soldering together a snake ring that has gold and silver elements. And we're going to go over some of the concepts and techniques that you really need when you have a complex soldering setup. So here we are in the studio. We have our guest cinematographer, Beth Sugarman. Yay! Yay! And conveniently enough, we're putting together her ring. So we have this gorgeous silver shank. Look at that snaky deliciousness. Love it, love it. So we're putting it together with the bezel. There's going to be a lovely amethyst in here, right?
Yes.
So we've got a little line drawn in the middle, and we've got our lines on our block. So we just have to kind of arrange everything so that we can solder. So we're using a third arm. And you know, I've told you guys before, the whole key to doing this stuff is just to like relax. It takes the time that it takes because the soldering itself will take like seconds. It's getting everything just where we want it in the right spot that really takes all the time. So if you feel yourself getting stressed, take a moment, shake it out. Do you know what I mean? And keep going. So I'm gonna align the bezel on this nice straight line on here because as you probably all know already, the human eye is shit at figuring out what's straight if you don't have something straight to look at.
I just zoomed in on that.
Excellent. Like I said, you get to make all the creative decisions. You are the guest artiste. Okay. So, and also I want the bottom of the ring shank aligned with the bottom of the bezel. You know, there's sort of more than one angle here to consider.
Now I have your hand.
Okay, that's all right. Like I said, make your own creative decisions. It's fine.
So the bottom of the ring shank with the bottom of the bezel.
Yes, exactly right. Because I mean, that's ideal. You know, is it the end of the world if it's a little off? No, of course not. But that's really what we want, so that it sort of just seamlessly flows one into the other. One thing I want to do is tilt it a little bit. And you know, another important thing about setting up rings and setting up anything is you gotta, once I'm confident that it looks right from the front, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna look from the side, I'm gonna look from the other side. You gotta really look from all the angles so that hopefully we see everything that's happening, or everything that's pertinent.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing that I don't love is that when I'm setting these up, the back of this aligns well, but then if you look down, there's kind of a gap. I think we might need to file the end a tiny bit more. Let me set it up, and then I want you to come and look and see what I'm talking about. Because I think we might do a little bit of filing to get a better
connection.
Yes, exactly. Or we might shift our third arm around a little bit, but I'm gonna just set it up to the best of my ability, and then like we'll look and we'll decide.
To me, the ring looks kind of tilted.
Yeah. Well, here, let me. I'm gonna
Stop.
take over for just a second. Woo! Because you see how we have the little section right here is nicely aligned, but then underneath there's a little space. I don't think that that's a great thing. So I think we're gonna need to file it or maybe just readjust a little bit. So I'm gonna pause this, we'll do some little tweaking, and then we'll come back when it's all beautiful and gorgeous. Okay, so here's our setup. We've got a little pin in the block so that we can kind of push up against there, and we know we've got good contact. We've got a third arm holding the rest of our ring, and then I have some tweezers that I've kind of shoved underneath there just to keep it from sliding down a little bit. So
Mention the incline of the tweezers.
yes, the incline of the tweezers, as Beth so rightly points out.
Not technically right, but
Since it's so tapered, you kind of just shove it underneath there until it's holding it up at exactly the right height, which is easier than finding something that magically is exactly the right height. So there's our beautiful setup. I'll shoot it from above. in all its glory. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over to my guest cinematographer, and she's going to video it while we solder. Ta-da! Okay, so I'm going to cut up some medium solder. I'm going to put some little balls. We're going to dip them in paste flux. I'm going to put them on there. We're going to heat. And basically, I'm going to like add one piece, flow it, and just keep adding until it's nice and full. But I feel like you never truly know exactly how many that's going to take, so we'll just keep going till it looks good. Now, even I have to admit that that's too big of a tip. We're going to go down to a 0 tip. I think that'll be better. Oh, double 0.
We should have done that before.
1. No, we're showing real conditions in the studio. This is exactly what we do. We're all ready and they're like, fuck, I don't have the right thing. Let me go get it.
It's already been 2.5 hours. No, it hasn't. Hour and a half. Who's counting?
You know.
Yeah.
If we all kept track of how long it took to actually make jewelry, we'd go crazy.
We'd cry.
Exactly. And who wants that?
What else do we have to do?
Gotta do something all day. Okay. You know, when you ball up your solder, hot and fast, get right in there and ball them up like that. That way they don't really get oxidized or anything. Okay. I'm gonna put just like a little dab of paste flux on the seam.
On the connection.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where we hope our seam is going to be, in other words. And in this case, the bezel's not very small, but the ring is bigger. So more of my heat is going to be on the ring shank than on the bezel, but I will have to heat both. So I'm gonna dry the flux a little bit, stick my ball where I want it.
So you're heating directly on the flux right now.
Yeah, if that's like a little warm, and then I dip the ball in a little flux and kind of it'll tend to stick there a little better, which is what I want out of life.
As long as it's sterling. This is sterling. Yep, you can do it. Fine mix of fruit as well, but it's
So can you see? A little bowl of solder right there.
just want to make sure it's those are one of those things you should never
Okay, gently dry, and you know I've got my tweezers in hand because things always move around and I want to be able to poke them and keep going. So I'm drying quasi gently,
Now it's so much easier.
and then I'll move that ball back where I really want it to be.
Never buy them again.
You're heating the ring shank more.
You're not going to pull the whole thing.
Okay, so you see how my ball of solder is sitting, touching both. And if I get that good and hot, and also the bezel a little hot too, it should just suck right in there. And that's why I have my tweezers so close by, ready to deploy in case of ... Okay. Starts to get a little shiny. It's thinking about flowing. There it goes. Okay. There we go. That's it, it's filled. Yay! One piece. One piece is all we need. So I didn't keep going. There's a little excess right on top there, but I feel like I'd rather you just remove it right from there than have it keep going, because if you look underneath, it looks all filled in. So what I want you to do is like pause and take a look at it, but it looks to me like it's totally filled. I think it's ready. So you look, you concur, we'll take it out, we'll pickle it, and then we'll take a good look and we'll clean it up a little bit, and that's it.
Sounds awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to show you the whole setup here. Again, the solder flowed, so we're gonna stop, we're gonna pickle, we'll double check, but everything is looking good. So I just want to show off how good this looks. Ta-da! So basically we'll do a little bit of spiffing and we may add another stone. If we're going to add another stone, we will. If not, we'll get to setting. And that's why that particular method is what I use, where I add the one ball and you add, if you have to add more, you add it from the same spot. If you start sticking it on there from all over the place, you end up with a bunch of shitty cleanup to do. Nobody's got time for that.